Francis Scott Key Bridge collapses in Baltimore. Let's discuss. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This morning, woke up, probably just like you, turned on the news and watching this cargo ship run into the Baltimore Bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge. It's sad, guys. It really is. I hated seeing that. I know, with things that happen, you instantly just think, my goodness, how fast the bridge came down after the ship had hit it. Now, apparently there were problems with the ship. We're going to go over a couple things, but first, let me say our thoughts and prayers are out to all the families involved. Everyone that is involved with this. It is such a tragic accident. Apparently there were construction workers that were fixing potholes on the bridge while this happened. Now the Coast Guard had gotten word of this. They were able to stop traffic, which this would have been a lot worse. That did not stop a lot of or some different vehicles tumbling into the water, as we are going to read a little bit from Reuters here. Their article goes on to, and keep in mind, this is an ongoing thing. This is an ongoing investigation. Everything it seems like new stuff is happening every few minutes. I had a lot of emails and a lot of comments from you guys wanting me to talk about this. Before I even opened everything up this morning, I was just in awe of all this happening. I mean, this is just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Reuters says Baltimore Bridge collapse sends vehicles tumbling into water. Some of the latest developments. This is, as of this recording, the timing on this is 11:02 a.m. according to Reuters, March 26, 2024. So some of the latest developments. Maryland governor, quote, "The preliminary investigation points to an accident, and there was no credible evidence of terrorism." So good to get that out there, I guess. 8 people on the bridge at the time of collision. 6 remain unaccounted for, Maryland State's Transportation Secretary said. The bridge was up to code, and there were no structural issues, Governor Moore said. And President Biden was being briefed on the collision, the White House said. So this shipping container, 948-foot shipping container, smashed into the 4-lane bridge in the U.S. Port of Baltimore in darkness early Tuesday, causing it to collapse and sending cars and people plunging into the river below. Now, I do believe this was about 1:30 in the morning Eastern Time. Rescuers pulled out 2 survivors, one of whom remains hospitalized, and were searching for more in the Patapsco River after huge spans of the 1.6-mile Francis Scott Key Bridge crumbled into the water. 1.6-mile bridge. Wow, that's a huge bridge. The preliminary investigation points to an accident, as the governor was talking about. The U.S. Coast Guard reported of the collapse at 1:27 a.m. and it deployed crews for an active search and rescue mission after the Singapore-flagged container ship forced the trellis-like bridge up into a mangled mass of metal. I mean, guys, it was seconds. If you haven't seen it, turn on your TV. It's everywhere. I'm sure everybody watching this has seen it. So tragic. I do believe there were issues with the ship, but again, this is all ongoing. This is all an ongoing investigation. So even some of the things that we read here, things could change. So keep that in mind as we go along. Work crews had been repairing potholes on the bridge at the time of the collapse, and sonar detected vehicles under the water, which was about 50 feet deep at this point, said Paul Whitfield, Maryland Secretary of Transportation. The bridge was up to code, and there were no structural issues, Moore said. He said the vessel's crew members notified authorities of a power issue on board before the crash, on board of the ship. They go on to say that President Biden was briefed. Jamie Krause was in the midst of another night shift at her workplace on shore when the cart of packages in front of her shook violently at around 2 a.m. A coworker told her the bridge had collapsed and she ran out to look. Quote, she says, I went over there and sure as anything, it was gone. The whole bridge was just like there was nothing there. She told Reuters in an interview, quote, it was shocking to see. And everybody who's watched the video footage, yeah, it literally took that bridge down in a few seconds. Like, I mean, it was crazy looking. The ship, quote, lost propulsion as it was leaving port, and crew on board notified Maryland officials they had lost control of the vessel. ABC News reported citing an unclassified U.S. intelligence report. Traffic was suspended at the Port of Baltimore until further notice. Maryland Transportation Authority said that it is the busiest U.S. port for car shipments, handling more than 750,000 vehicles in 2022, according to port data. The closure of one of the U.S. East Coast major ports threatens to disrupt supplies of goods from cars to coal and other commodities like sugar. It could create bottlenecks and increase delays and costs on the northeastern seaboard, experts say. The port handles the most car imports and is among the largest for coal exports. They go on here, a major thoroughfare is what they title this. The Francis Scott Key Bridge was the main thoroughfare for drivers between New York and Washington who sought to avoid downtown Baltimore. It was one of three ways to cross the Baltimore harbor with a traffic volume of 31,000 cars per day or 11.3 million vehicles a year. The ship was identified as the Dolly, owned by Grace Ocean PTE Ltd. And managed by Synergy Marine Corp. Synergy said the Dolly collided with one of the pillars of the bridge and that all its crew members, including the two pilots, had been accounted for, and there were no reports of any injuries. And you can literally see the ship run directly into the bridge. I mean, it's clearly, watch it just completely run into the bridge. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott described a scene of twisted metal shooting into the sky. Quote, it was something out of an action. It looked like something out of an action movie. It was something you never thought you'd see. And you know what? That was kind of my first thoughts, is like this looked like something out of a movie. Like, it happens so fast. It's at the blink of an eye. You blink your eye, and that bridge is underwater. Like, I mean, it's crazy. I couldn't believe it after watching it several times, because I'm looking at every angle and trying to see what happened and all that stuff. Luckily, and the thing is, I wanted to put this out a little bit later in the day because when things happen, there's so much speculation. Right? Because I don't remember seeing this morning that they had actually closed off the ends of the bridge so that no cars could go through at that point. So, and that came out later, which glad I waited for that. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott, Kevin Cartwright, the spokesperson for Baltimore City Fire Department, earlier told Reuters that as many as 20 people could be in the river along with cars and possibly a tractor trailer. Quote, this is a mass casualty, multi-agency event, end quote, he said. Quote, this operation is going to extend for many days, if not weeks. A live video posted on YouTube showed the ship plowing into the bridge in darkness. The highlights of the vehicles could be seen on the bridge as it crashed into the water and the ship caught fire. Tuesday's disaster may be the worst U.S. bridge collapse since 2007 when I-35 westbound bridge in Minneapolis collapsed into the Mississippi River, killing 13 people. It was the first major collapse of a bridge from a ship impact in about 40 to 50 years, David Knight, a specialist at the Institution of Civil Engineers, told Reuters. The National Transportation Safety Board was sending a team to investigate. Moore, the governor of Baltimore, declared a state of emergency, or Maryland, I should say, declared a state of emergency to quickly deploy federal resources to deal with the emergency. The FBI in Baltimore said on X, its personnel were on the scene. It was not immediately clear if any other vessels had been damaged or whether operations had halted to and from the port, shipping and insurance sources say. And then they have a map on here of the bridge and where the collapse was, and my goodness, where the ship came out and where it lost control. Let's see. The Dolly was chartered by shipping company Maersk. At the time of the incident, the Danish company said in a statement, quote, "We are horrified by what has happened in Baltimore and our thoughts are with all of those affected," Maersk said. Baltimore Port's private and public terminals handled 847,158 autos and light trucks in 2023, the most of any U.S. port. The port also handles farm and construction machinery, sugar, coal, according to Maryland governor's website. More than 40 ships remained inside Baltimore's port, including small cargo ships, tugboats, and pleasure craft. I know I had saw where a Royal Caribbean ship was trying to find somewhere else to dock because they're not able to get through. So there was a Royal Caribbean, and they put out a statement too, saying that their thoughts and prayers are with everybody as they try to find port somewhere else. The bridge, named after Francis Scott Key, author of the Star-Spangled Banner, opened up in 1977. And that we're just going to end there, guys. I just wanted to go over some of the things, some of the facts that we know so far. Some of the facts that we know. And this is, things are probably going to change. Things, that's why I don't really like to go over numbers the first day of an incident because, and from what it looks like, it could have been worse. It could have been worse, but let's not forget about the people who are affected by this. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to all of you. I just wanted to go over some of the facts of some of the things that we know right now. And I will most likely be doing an update on this here in the future. I actually put off a video for tonight that I'm probably going to put out tomorrow now. That was scheduled to come out tonight, but I wanted to make sure and put this out here just in case you didn't know about this. I know we have a lot of viewers in Baltimore. We have a lot of viewers in the Baltimore area and around the Maryland area. And, our thoughts and prayers are with all of your families, everyone affected. It's going to be a long cleanup process. Hopefully, they're able to find more people. I know it looks grim. It does, but, I'm glad they were able to rescue a couple people, and we'll just have to see as it goes along. Don't want to speculate anything. That's the one thing I don't like about the news is there's so much speculation. Let's just pray for the souls. Let's pray for the people and everyone affected right now and just leave it at that. But guys, thank you so much for watching the video today. I will keep an update maybe in some other videos as we go along here. And again, the video that I was going to have come out tonight will probably be out tomorrow morning. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.